Assalamu alaikum all. Today I'm going to be talking about my best language learning lesson for 2024. Last year was a big year for me in terms of my language learning journey, and I've learned a lot. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about my biggest, most important lesson. So yeah, just want to say welcome. On this channel, I share my journey learning languages as a Muslim. Now, the most important lesson I learned sounds quite simple, but it is basically just to stay active and keep going no matter what. And, it's quite a simple thing to do. It's not about really worrying about having the best, most optimized application or system or having the most experienced tutor. If I'm not actually doing any of those things, so I'm not actually kind of continuing and doing it regularly. And one of the biggest problems I had was just worrying about forgetting words, not understanding grammar. But that's just all part of the natural process. It's just about keep going, keep trying to do something every day, keep trying to progress with the language. And it's just how your brain's going to learn. With your brain, it's not something that just goes in kind of like in this logical kind of manner. No, it just needs lots of exposure, loads of input. As Stephen Krashen talks about comprehensive input, it just needs lots of input, lots of working with the language and, not getting stressed out about worrying about things. And looking back, the thing I would always think about was that I wish I had just kept going. So, when I was doing Arabic before, that was like maybe 10 years ago now, I would just keep wanting to just keep going. That would be the most important thing I'd want to do. And, don't worry about getting stressed out and things like that. I just had to make sure that I just kept going. And it kind of got me thinking why have I been giving up previously? And the main reason was just things got too difficult. I was struggling to understand things. Long list of words to memorize, complex grammar rules, getting bored. And that's one of the things I remember, the textbook I had, it's quite boring. You had to memorize words. I used to get stressed out about that and trying to memorize them for my next lesson. So yeah, it's really important just to kind of just trying to understand why was I giving up? Where were the sort of failure points? Where were the bits that I was really struggling with? And I think what I've learned over the past year is that, I need to find what I enjoy and what keeps me curious, and that will keep me going. So, I've picked French because I've been to France. It's not as big of a learning curve as Arabic, and I want to go to France. I want to keep going to France. I went with my family recently, and we just had a really good time, and I would love to communicate and talk with people and be able to express myself and order things. And it's just great just kind of being able to get involved with the French culture and learning different things there. And another good lesson was just I love watching French YouTube, Netflix, things like that. It just helps me keep going. So it's just all about just keeping going, staying active, being curious. I watched the Tour de France on Netflix. That's a really good show, really addictive once you get into it. And I just have that running in French, and it doesn't feel natural at first to do that. You're like, oh my God, I don't understand anything. But then little bits start to just slip into your brain. The more exposure you have, the better, definitely. And another thing is if a language learning method is not working, then I need to change it up. I use this Asimil book, which I've kind of spoken about before, and it is a really good book. And at first I was doing quite well with it, but then it was getting really difficult. I couldn't, the exercises were getting more difficult. I was constantly looking up words, going back and forth, and I wasn't kind of enjoying it. And then I discovered Duolingo, and it's just so easy to use. It's just so accessible. You could just I could just do a lesson a day, and it kind of changed everything. It just made a massive difference. And I do intend to go back to the book, but I think I need to build up my language at a much more simpler level. And that kind of made a massive difference. And Duolingo is a big part of the language learning journey for me. And also another thing is I've changed my online tutor to someone that's kind of more suited to me. And this kind of happened a bit kind of accidentally. And what happened was on Preply, which I've done a video about before as well, is a website where you can pick online tutors, and I had a tutor before, and he was good. I thought he was good. We were kind of doing good stuff, but then I had to change that tutor mainly because of the hours weren't working. We couldn't align our hours up properly, so I ended up using a new tutor whose name's Fuzi, and he's been great. I've had to give a few lessons with him. Really listens to me. I think he kind of knows what my goals are, which is I'm planning to go to France again in July, and I really want to be at a good conversational level, be able to request things, communicate people, and it's really good at keeping not having too much pressure, just telling me to just look at things. And I was kind of against doing grammar, but we're just doing little bits of grammar, and it seems to be sort of working at the moment, and we've kind of got a lot of feedback going between both of us. And I'll definitely be talking a video about my progress with my online tutor and how I found that in the future. And another good thing I've done is definitely lowering the stakes. Previously with the Asimil book, I was trying to do one chapter a day. It was just getting really complicated, really hard. And then now it's just kind of got a bit simpler now. So I just do a Duolingo listen, and yeah, it's just kind of lowered the pressure for me. Another thing is that it's finding something simple that I can stick to, and with Duolingo it's really easy to stick to it. And watching French YouTube and TV shows, something I can do every day just to keep the momentum going, just staying active. But one of the biggest lessons is just to stay active, but also not constantly looking for some fancy app or system or the best optimized system, or how I can learn a language in like 60 days, 30 days. If I'm going to find it too difficult and I'm not going to stick to it, I need to find something that I can stick to. And with Duolingo, I definitely feel like I can do that, as well as with my online tutor, and finding a system that kind of works for me. And it doesn't have to be the most optimized, most efficient, best method. Like, the military has this method with that intense learning for hours and hours, and that's not going to work for me. I'm not at that level, and I'm not sure if I ever will be. But yeah, doing things like watching French YouTube and French Netflix has helped massively. But yeah, just want to say thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, as it really helps. Assalamu alaikum.